The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with confused murmurs. Representatives from 17 spacefaring civilizations gathered around the holographic display, showing a single human vessel approaching their defensive line. The massive Thoraxian fleet, 300 ships strong, held position at the edge of the Orion Arm, their crystalline hulls glinting in the starlight. "This is madness," growled Supreme Commander K-Thax, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "The humans know we've blockaded their expansion into the Arm. They know we have overwhelming force. Why send a single ship?" The human vessel, designated HSS Prometheus, continued its steady advance. By conventional metrics, it was unimpressive, a mere 2 kilometers in length, dwarfed by the 10-kilometer Thoraxian dreadnoughts. Long-range scans showed no unusual weapon signatures, no massive energy readings, nothing to justify such apparent foolishness. Ambassador Zilax of the Silicon Consciousness shifted her holographic form nervously. Perhaps they seek diplomatic resolution. Humans have proven unpredictable in their approaches. "No," K-Thax responded. "Their diplomatic channels have been silent for weeks. This is something else." The Council watched as the Thoraxian fleet sent the standard warnings. 3 times, they demanded the human vessel halt its approach. 3 times, they received no response. At 5 million kilometers out, the Thoraxian fleet launched their first volley, a courtesy warning shot of plasma torpedoes that would detonate well ahead of the human ship. The Council collectively held their breath, expecting the lone vessel to finally turn back. It didn't. Instead, the Prometheus began to change. Its seemingly simple hull started to shift, plates sliding and reconfiguring like a puzzle solving itself. What had appeared to be standard armor plating revealed itself as billions of individual units, each no larger than a grain of sand. "Nanites," whispered Ambassador Zilax. "Their entire ship is made of." Before she could finish, the Prometheus transformed. It didn't just change shape, it multiplied. The nanites that composed its structure divided and reformed, and where there had been 1 ship, there were suddenly 2 identical vessels. Then 4. Then 16. Impossible. K-Thax roared. The energy requirements alone would, but the multiplication continued. Each new ship was a perfect copy, complete with its own propulsion, weapons, and systems. Within minutes, the single human vessel had become a fleet of over 500 ships, each one now larger than the original. The Thoraxian fleet opened fire in earnest, their plasma weapons cutting through space. But the human ships, if they could still be called that, simply absorbed the impacts. The nanites that composed their hulls redistributed and repaired damage instantly, learning and adapting to each weapon that struck them. Then the human fleet responded. Their weapons weren't conventional energy beams or projectiles. Instead, streams of nanites poured forth, crossing the void between the fleets in silvery rivers. Where they touched the Thoraxian ships, they began to deconstruct them at the molecular level, using the very material of their enemies to create more of themselves. By the first stars, someone in the council chamber whispered, they didn't send a ship at all. They sent a virus, a mechanical virus. The battle, if it could be called, that was over in minutes. Where the mighty Thoraxian fleet had stood, there was now only a vast cloud of nanites, reorganizing themselves into yet more human ships. The blockade hadn't just been broken, it had been consumed and converted. A transmission finally came from the human fleet. A simple text message displayed itself in the council chamber. The Prometheus protocol sends its regards. We would like to negotiate the terms of our expansion now. K-Thax, his pride and fleet in ruins, could only stare at the holographic display. Why? He asked finally. Why show us this level of technological superiority only now? A second message appeared. Humanity has learned through its long history that the most effective demonstrations require perfect timing. You believed us primitive because we showed you what you expected to see. You believed us weak because we let you think us so. But we haven't spent the last century since first contact idle. We were studying, learning and building. Not ships, not weapons, but something far more versatile, the ability to become whatever we need to be. The council chamber remained silent for a long moment before Ambassador Xylax spoke again. We've misunderstood them completely. They didn't send a ship to fight our fleet. They sent an idea, a proof of concept, the ultimate expression of their adaptability. And now, K-Thax added grimly, they can adapt into anything they need, in any number they require. 1 ship or 1,000. A fleet or a planet-sized computational engine. They're no longer bound by the limitations of fixed matter and energy. The final message from the human fleet appeared. Shall we discuss those expansion rights? The Galactic Council, for the first time in its 1,000-year history, immediately moved to vote without debate. The motion to approve human expansion passed unanimously. Sometimes they realized the most terrifying force in the universe isn't overwhelming numbers or superior firepower. Sometimes it's the quiet confidence of sending exactly what you need, nothing more, nothing less. The humans had known this all along. They had sent 1 ship, and that had been more than enough.